How's it going, everybody? Second show of the day. We got two more after this. We had a great show with our sister from Greece, Renata Edeni, prior to this one. All these shows you can see the lives and the replays on Facebook and YouTube replays for now, and always live on Zoom. If these shows resonate with you, please share so that we can stay above these algorithms. Thank you for your love and support and energy and contributions that allow us to keep doing this every day. We have opened up a Patreon, and the reason that I keep mentioning this is because we're doing our best to expand this platform as it's been downloaded by myself. We can't do it alone. We can use all the help we can get. We need equipment, we need resources, and we're just going to keep plugging away and build this thing as the community that we are. So let's get Mark McNicholl up here and see if his beautiful wife's with him, or if we got to look at his ugly face the whole time. I'm just kidding, Martin. Let's see. All right. Oh my God, you spared us having to look at you the whole time.
It's happy. It's happy.
That was it. That's it right there. That's the Trinity in physicality incarnated in a physical being. And oh my God.
See him disappearing there.
This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. We need to all be around this frequency of these children. It's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having us, Todd.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
It's good to see y'all. I've been following you. I don't get on too much, but I've been following you. And yeah, you guys, in fact, I don't even know where you are, but I know that you guys just threw caution to the wind in December and just decided to go out there and start making it happen. Where are you guys at? What have you been doing? What's happening?
Well, we've been laughing a lot and crying a lot. since the last time we spoke. Well, we're in Portugal. But since the last time we spoke, we've been doing like there's been a huge transformation in what we do, and like absolutely everything just fell away, to be honest. What we've been doing, and we've just been on this journey of complete surrender, complete letting go. We've been on a couple of physical journeys like that, but a lot of multi-dimensional journeys like that as well. And yeah, everything just shifted. Everything's changed. It's amazing. We've been done a bit of traveling as well, but a lot of work between us two as well. We thought we'd been through some challenges up until like February of this, like last month, and then wow, February was like the pinnacle of challenges for us. I don't know, it's crazy, but beautiful night.
Are you speaking about challenges to you individually, or to you as a couple, or both?
Both, yes, both. But yeah, it was absolutely both, because nothing that we go through like is individual in nature, but it's always both of it. But yeah, we had to deal with our own stuff individually, and then that went into the relationship, which took it to a whole new level, which I know you know very well. But February was, oh my God, it was intense, really intense. From December, we've been on this journey of complete surrender, complete letting go. We went on this literal journey where we didn't make any decisions whatsoever. We literally let synchronicity guide us. We took our passports, we got into the car, and we didn't make a single decision for a week.
Wow.
And we just let it take us. That was incredible. I was inspired by a guy, Michael A. Singer. Probably a lot of people would know his book called The Surrender Experiment. So we got very deeply, well, say deeply into it. It's just like letting go of everything. So that was amazing. And everything just fell away. So much of the stuff that we were doing like dissolved, and we just went into this very deep journey with ourselves. But yeah, in February time, very deep stuff was coming up for us. And we were having experiences like, you know, we were kind of hiding away in our home for a long time doing this stuff on our own, and we didn't come out into the world. And a lot of the things that happened would be when we're alone at home. But now things are happening out in the world. Like I like literally dissolved out of this dimension while we were in a coffee shop one day. And that was really crazy what happened, because I've never had that experience before. I just disappeared. And when I came back, these two were gone. I think we're maybe going to have to have this yeah, I think he's going to have to go. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. He wasn't bothering me.
Say bye-bye. Or else we won't be able to hear. Say bye-bye, Todd. Say bye-bye, Chio, Todd. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Put this in your plate.
What a beautiful.
Come back in. Yeah.
Let's see.
That kid's like, you know, like.
We'll maybe do a swap. Half and half.
Yeah, that's cool. So wait a minute. Now you were in a coffee shop with the both of them, and then you just disappeared.
Yes, this was absolutely crazy, because nothing like this has happened. I've heard people talking about these things, but I've never had any experience like this before. We were there. Well, there was a lead up to what happened. We got into the car, and then I just got this massive download of all of the potentials that were open to us, not just for that day, but like all of the parallel aspects of us where we came together, and a lot of them were pretty horrible, to be honest.
Really?
A lot of them beautiful as well, but the ones that were really that needed to be integrated came up. So we had these set, and I was going through, and I lost consciousness a couple of times, and going through a lot of process and letting it come. And so that process, I don't know how long it lasted, but this was in the car just outside the house. And then it kind of transferred, and Elise had to have this experience. And then she suddenly seen all of these lifetimes. She's very visual. She could see all of these lifetimes where we were different beings, but we're always together, and all of these potentials. And she had to release a lot of anger, a lot of rage. So she went and did that. So we thought we did this process. This is kind of like what we do a lot, but this happened. And then we thought we're going to have a normal life and go to this coffee shop and go just have a meal. And we got there, and I can't even describe what happened, but I disappeared. I literally was not there anymore. And it's not like I have a memory of where I went or what was happening. It's just blank. And then what happens is I just, a little while after, however long, I have no idea, I just appear back, and both of them were gone. And
Where were they? Where were they?
I'm just in this panic. In my reality, they've disappeared. They're gone, and I'm there alone. And I mean, the people in this coffee shop must have thought I was absolutely crazy. I've just got up and I'm running around looking for them, and I don't know where they're at. And well, they were there, but they were in the toilets basically. But something happened in between, and something happened with Elise in between. And I'm like, my heart's beating. And it was like, basically what I got told was like an echo of some of these things that we worked on, that we seen. And this was like best case scenario, is like you just have that experience and then it comes back. But it was terrifying. I'm going to say it was terrifying.
Wow.
And then Elise came back, and this is all in the middle, like there's lots of people around, and I don't know what they must be thinking. But what happened then, she had to kind of bring me back here, because I was kind of phasing in and out. And what happened is she needed to very strongly take like a very strong feminine stance. And I've never seen power like it. Like she just looked at me and she said something I can't remember. She'll maybe remember. And it was just like, and it was like the feminine taking the lead and being strong in her voice. And then we were back in, but it was crazy. Really.
Wow.
Crazy. The month was kind of like that.
Wow. That was in February. Wow.
That was I was February, sorry. Yes, February, yeah.
So what was her recollection of that time that you were gone? Anything different for her?
For her, she was still kind of reeling, because she's very visceral and very real. So she was seeing all these lifetimes and all of these things that we did to each other, and like all of these kind of, I suppose you could call it karmic things that we played out, and she's seeing them multiple. So she was still feeling a lot of that. And there was like a bit of time, but in that time where it just doesn't exist anymore for me, she was just kind of feeling strange. She was just kind of feeling strange, and like something was bubbling up inside of her that she knew she needed to really take a stand, like have a strong voice. And wow, she did it.
Yeah, so she was like, get back here, you know, ground, be
Yeah,
present or something like that.
because you've seen it, like she's so patient, so soft. Like she'll never raise her voice ever, ever. Like she only felt anger for the first time when she was 40 years old, and
Wow.
we had to do some work on that. So she's always very calm, but this was like not anger. This was like just pure power and strength, and like the real fiery goddess. And I don't know what the words were, but it wasn't the words; it was the energy, and it
Mm.
was like two, like the masculine feminine was like this, and it
It
was
was like
like
a
wow.
it's like a dimensional experience in the flesh, right?
That's what it felt like. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And to me, I know I speak to lots of people have talk about these things, but for me, this was very, very new. It was like I've not had anything like that before. So
So
yeah,
now, do you guys live in Portugal?
yes,
Okay, so you
yeah.
left Portugal when you decided to go out onto the land, or just in the car and start traveling,
Hmm.
and then you went around different places. I know because I saw some of the pictures. So
Oh yeah,
what was that first week like? You said you made no decisions.
that was
How
that was
did
amazing.
your journey materialize, or how did you get the uh, the information or the signs or the clues to where you were going to
Yeah,
go?
I'll give you a couple of examples. So like we left our home, and there's only one way you can drive. One way is a dead end, so we can only turn right. And we're going to visit our neighbor before we went. So we went and seen him. And Elise hadn't told me this, but she said that she internally she said a butterfly is going to show us the way. She didn't tell me this. This is what's going to happen. So we're speaking with the guy, and we're getting ready to go. And I told him, look, we know we're going somewhere, but we have no idea. And a butterfly landed on my ass and flew right. I swear to God, you couldn't make this stuff up. And I didn't know it until she said. She's like, "Oh, it's there." So we followed the butterfly, and we drove. We got to the end of the road, and there'll be some a symbol or a sign. So a symbol would say turn left, or an inner side kind of voice would say turn right. Probably only a couple of minutes in it, like we got to a roundabout, and I had no guidance. At least had no guidance. So I just pulled over at the side of the road, and I closed my eyes, and I just meditated for a little bit, and then I opened my eyes. As soon as I opened my eyes, a car went past with my initials on it, and it turned right, and we followed it, and it took us. So it was like that. So it was like that
Wow.
continuously every day for 7 days. Now that it wasn't always like as magic as that. Many times my mind got in, and like even the second night we were in Seville in Spain, and I was trying to make it happen. It was the second day. So the first day, just everything happened easy because you're just free and open. And then the second day, you're trying to make things happen. So it was 12 o'clock at night, and we still had no idea what we were doing. Uh, but it came eventually. But it had to for me to get out of the driver's seat and stop trying to make things happen. But things like that, just a vision would appear, or someone would say something, and that's what we did. And we ended up in Tenerife in the Canary Islands,
Yeah,
remnants of Atlantis. Yeah.
Morgan just took the words out of my mouth. There's the telepathy for you. Live in the Celestine prophecy. That's exactly what I was
Oh,
going to say. Yeah, exactly. I swear to God. I was
well,
waiting for you to finish.
that's
So
hilarious.
have you like um, connected to the energy of those 7 days, or whatever was present? Was there any information that came with it?
In that time, there was, because we were in this kind of this journey of really dissolving, like a complete surrender, because we've been a lot of stuff we've been doing for 5 years, and I had a lot of stuff outwardly that I was doing, working with people, and this was all about completely letting go and completely in the moment. So there wasn't, like, for me, a lot of times, like, if I just sit down, I could write pages and pages of stuff, or I could speak pages and pages. So this was very different. This was like a complete dissolving of
Yeah.
everything. So it was just moment to moment to moment. But I want to tell you something that's hilarious that you just talk about, because on Elise's birthday, we met winter solstice 2015. On her birthday, 24th of February 2016, I'd never read the Celestine prophecy, and either had Elise, and I wanted to take her on like a surprise like journey. We were living in Dubai, and we were going to this place where you could go out onto this island. It was about 4 hours drive. So I put her into the car and blindfolded her, and we put on the audiobook of Celestine Prophecy, and we listened to it on audiobook the whole way, and that's how we both heard that story. So she was
Wow.
blindfolded the whole journey, listening to
Wow.
Celestine Prophecy.
Talk about a level of trust, letting you blindfold.
I don't know how, but she has immense trust in me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust me.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is huge. Now, we've been getting slowly, steadily, deliberately. There's been an expanding understanding or awareness or knowing that we got to let go of everything.
Yeah.
I've
That's
let
what
go
it's
of
about.
Soulogy so many times, and it just everything that when you start to let everything go, and there's only just say my relationship and my work and just these few things, and then you're being asked to let those things go. My sense, like your story, is a perfect physical representation, or as close an explanation as I could get, just coming from my own being. Which, because we still talk about this and like, where's it going, what's happening. But one of the big things is like the whole thinking process goes. Like we can't even like frame anything up. You can't like your trip is a perfect example. You can't plan anything, because it's going away. So it's almost like we're being given, or like you were being given, an opportunity to start testing it out and getting familiar and used to and comfortable with how this really works.
Yes. Yeah,
Does
that's
that
what
does
it
that
felt like.
does that make sense to you? Does that
Totally,
resonate?
absolutely. It was, and the first thing I think, you can't let go of Soulogy, because that's not something that you do. That's something that you are. That's the first
Yeah,
thing I feel
true.
about that. That's
Yeah,
something that you are. That's what you are here. But
absolutely.
yeah, it makes total sense, and that's what I feel. That's what I feel it was, because as much as intuitive as I've been, and like in that feminine, there's still a lot of doing and trying and planning and
Yeah,
making things happen, and that
yeah.
had to be dissolved very quickly.
And I
And I
think,
mean,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that's well, that's what I'm talking about. Even in terms like Morgan and I, individually and side by side, have let, it sounds strange, let each other go many,
Yeah,
many times, but it's not, you're actually letting go. Like you said, Soulogy is me. Your
yeah,
work is you. My relationship is me.
yeah,
But we're letting go of the human belief system, is how I put it. Like letting go of the constrictions of that limited thinking and the
yes,
attachment, the attachment, and which therefore uh, is a resistance to the unknown. Like what you put into motion in this 7-day trip, it was, I mean, you guys were laying it down on the grid. I mean,
yeah,
you were putting it into motion, the full integration of the physical, the non-physical,
yeah.
and it was,
It's
and
amazing.
that's incredible.
It's
That's
amazing.
absolutely incredible. Yeah.
And I want to just say as well that this, it sounds like I'm talking about a butterfly land on my ass and like all of this. This trip wasn't like it doesn't mean it was a dream trip. There was some parts of it where we were taken to places where we felt really uncomfortable. It's not always like, wow, this is just blissful. Like for like one instance, because this year I'll be 6 years sober, and I had a long journey with drugs and alcohol. And one of the places we were taken is somewhere we would never ever go. So we ended up in this small apartment above a karaoke bar, and it was like music blaring all night. And it was like, no, you're going to let go of that judgment. I know we've talked about this before. Let go of that judgment of that part of you, and that that wild part of you and stuff. So we were there, and it was going it wasn't going all night, but it was going late and very loud, and we were right above it. So it was like you said, it's letting go of those belief systems, those attachments to
Yeah.
human resistances or judgments. So I was getting to, viscerally feel it, where we were out in this kind of retreat in the middle of nowhere. We don't get to normally experience that now. So it was giving us all of those experiences, and amazing experiences like being in a volcano and all of that as well. But it was amazing. It was really amazing.
Wow. And what about the golden child? How has how has he influenced? Is he telepathing with y'all? Has he influenced your decisions? Does he have anything to say?
I feel like he's running the whole show. I'm not even joking. He's like,
I believe
I
you.
know he's like, he doesn't like to be on camera a lot of times, and he tells me off a lot. Like, because I put him on camera a few times, and he's told me over and over again. But I think I told you the first. I might have. I don't remember if I said. He told us his name at 5 days old, like
Yeah.
separately,
Yeah.
telepathically, like individually confirmed. He told Elise first. She didn't tell me that he told her, and then or she didn't tell me how it had happened, and then he told me like separately, and so it was confirmed by both of us.
Yeah.
So he talks to us all of the time, like all of the time, and he's like a lot of the times is to really keep me in line because I have this kind of wayward, like excitable, and he really puts me in my place a lot. So he has a lot to say.
This is
Um,
the same thing. Ryan and Natasha Weeks
yeah,
stopped by for a visit for about a day and a half, and they've
yeah,
got Ocean with them, who's I think almost 3 years old.
yeah.
And it's the same thing. He spoke to her from the womb. He came out. He's still talking to him. He's telling him, "Hey, I'm not going to school. I'm not being
Oh,
vaccinated. We're going to do something different." And so, long story short, they're traveling around and they're doing it in the way that you did it in those 7 days. And
oh
to your
wow.
point, because she shared some things with me, it's not always perfect, but
Phew,
they hold the
definitely not.
space. And then the other thing is they don't think, they know that he's directing the entire thing.
Yeah.
And what you just said a minute ago, she told me as well, that he keeps them in check. Like if
Oh,
they start to get, one or both of them starts to get misaligned, he tells them, "Hey, that's not what we're here for. You need to get back into joy. Let's go to the playground or do something." And that's how they're
absolutely.
doing it. And I think we're going
Yeah.
to see more and more and more of this. No
Yeah. As
doubt.
soon as you said that, I got like massive like god bumps. I like to call them, just all the way up the
Yeah.
top of my head there. So yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Their
he's born.
impact. Yeah.
He's
Go
never
ahead.
he's never met a doctor. Well, the only doctor he's ever met is our dear friend Dr. Anu, who's part of the mystery school, and he came to visit us, not the other way around. He was
Yeah.
born in our bedroom, at least complete natural birth. She used breath work, meditation, relaxation. He's he's been here. We're like a vegan diet, like everything. He's been aligning it all the way. And there's some other things that I've seen recently that he's put in place for us that we're just amazed by. And yeah, I completely feel that we have a good guide, but also he doesn't take any shit. He's not going, especially for me. With his mom, he's going to have an easier job. With me, he has to keep me in the line.
Well, we know they're more connected or less resistant to that energy. And
Yeah,
these kids seem to be you said it a minute ago, like a guide. I mean, they seem to be an incarnated, what prior to their arrival was, a divine essence or a galactic light being or an angelic, guiding us. And now they're incarnated, which I guess in
wow.
reality we're the same thing, but we went through the grind. But it
Yeah,
seems like that there's more of a physical presence uh, uh, happening in terms of what we might consider dimensional or divine or light being or whatever. I'm
absolutely.
wondering if that's how this thing is going to go, and maybe those voices, for lack of a better word, are going to cease because they are just us, and
Yes.
we're going to start to see it in each other. And these kids, I think, are going to lead the way.
Yeah, I feel that, and I've actually been experiencing more and more of that. What you've just said as well, I've been experiencing that myself. That's what's been happening for me. It's been more and more of that, and I know that's the influence of many young beings across the planet now. And I feel that yeah, they are true embodiments right away. Doesn't mean that they're not going to have human journey. They're coming into this human journey. They're going to have their things, and he told us before he came. Don't think that all your like spiritual beliefs is just what I'm going to follow or what you think is right. He's told us a lot of that, so it's like what we think we know is right, and what is good for him is not necessarily what it is. We just have to, but we just learn and grow as it happens. But also, yeah, myself, I've been experiencing that, especially since that sort of December time, that less and less there is this kind of separation of, above, below, inside, outside. It's just really coming into oneness and harmony, and yeah, no separation.
Isn't that a thought though? The whole within, without, above, below is the same sequence of integration as everything else in terms of these polarities, and it's all in one place.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. I really think they are leading the way. Have you had any type of sense of like we have beings around us, all of us? I mean, have you had any sense of his team around him at all?
No, actually, when I think about that, no. I mean, when he gets outside, like he see, like, and in the room, other than not a sense in the way that I sense and work with guides and channeling and stuff like that, but him seeing things and like pointing things, like anytime he goes outside, he's pointing. I feel like he's like communicating with the elementals and stuff. He's pointing at things, and a lot of times in the room. So that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really guidance, or maybe just that he's just much more aware of what's there that we can't see. But not so much like that sort of guidance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Elise could answer if she felt that, but not so much for me. Yeah, I feel he is it. He is it. That's
Yeah.
what I feel.
Yeah. Like he's the composite of all that.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, part of the reason I brought that up because I've heard it from two different places. One was my daughter, who is here where we're located right now temporarily, and in the area. She's in the area about 10 miles away.
Yeah.
And she had an experience right before I went over to meet my first grandchild.
Yeah.
And she said that she had him in bed with her early in the morning. Somebody was pulling the blankets off of her, and she finally got the courage to look and see, and there was 3 light beings standing at the foot of the bed and speaking to her in like a digital kind of like a digital language. But she said it was telepathic. She understood it. She couldn't recall everything, but she, one of the things that they basically conveyed, was that they were there to protect him, and that he was special and had a special mission, and she wasn't alone on this part of the project.
Wow.
So that's pretty. And I've heard another one, and I'm sure there's more out there. I think we're going to hear more and more about these kids and the impact that they're having, and the leadership role that they're taking.
Absolutely.
Because
that's
really what it is. They're taking the lead. It sounds like.
Yeah, there's sometimes like I take him out on walks sometimes, and sometimes he let me have the camera, other times he doesn't. Sometimes he's told me like, put that camera down. He said to me last week, this is the words he said to me. He's 1.5, by the way. He said to me, because I wanted to go out and do a live video where we would walk together, and he said, I want you to play with me, not make a play of me. Leave that camera at home. This is what he said.
Holy shiitake mushrooms.
I know. That's what he said. And I was like, it was like, I'm saying it was like strong when he was saying it. It wasn't like kind of like, it was strong. It was strong. He said it.
So what was it? It was don't play.
He said, I want you to play with me, not make a play of me. Meaning like make a show of me, or make live video showing me off and this sort of thing. Which I'll be honest, I do. A father, you know what it's like, the human part of me. And that's what he said. And I was like,
it sounds like you're getting a daily ass whooping by this kid.
I am. There's no doubt about it. But I need it, and it's good.
Yeah, I can see. I can see.
Doing it for 5 years now. Now they got 2.
Oh. So Elise, is it? I mean, is it just part of your life now that you're communicating at this higher level with this beautiful golden child?
Yes, it's part of my life now.
Yeah.
And it's so good because he cannot say the words yet that
Physical words.
physical words, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say some things and he look at me and it's like I know what he's saying.
Amazing.
And even when we go out like to buy grocery and someone says something and he doesn't like, and straight away like I know what's going on is on his
Wow.
mind. Yeah.
Have you noticed like guides or like anything connected with him?
No, not yet.
No?
No.
Other than the things he sees and he's pointing at
Yeah,
the room
yeah.
and he's
He
going,
points.
it's like, why can you not see it? He's like,
Usually in the bedroom and in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He points and
Wow.
Yeah.
it's like he's communicating with someone.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Elisangela, you look so beautiful, and you do.
Ah, thank you.
And it's not that Martin's ugly. It's just that the contrast of your beauty.
Thank you as well. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It de-emphasizes his handsomeness because the contrast of you.
I'll take it. I'll take it. That's good.
You guys talked about February a little bit, and part of what we wanted to do was bring out the realness, like you were so appropriate in your description at the beginning of the show. So like I kind of picked up from what you went through in February and what you guys were talking about, that sometimes you have to energetically separate to, would that be right? I mean, to kind of like process or level up or integrate?
Yeah, this time, yes, I really had to ask Martin for a space because before we used to do together, sit down together and do it. It was hard as well, but this time was really like heavy for me, and I needed some days this time, and I felt I was a lot of like with my ego as well.
Yeah.
But I needed a time because I couldn't understand myself what was really happening. It took me more days, and usually we could do maybe in 3 hours, yeah, before around 3 hours. But this time I was asking him, I need this time, and I had to go through by myself to do whatever I needed to do by myself this time. And I think only the 4th day, we could sit down.
It was intense.
So was this recent? I'm just curious.
In February.
It was around your birthday, wasn't it? It was before.
End of the month.
But the whole of February was just a shit show. I'm just going to say it. Like I don't know what we've lost track of dates, but the whole of February was just.
Well, you said 4 days, and this I think we would go back. What's today? So it would have been right at the end of February. Right at the end of February, 1st of March, we had the same thing happen. Now we've had periods where we've gone into our own space and still cohabitated and everything, but in this case we came together, the energy hit, and we didn't really even say anything. We just went, and it lasted for 3 days and 4 nights. And we messaged a little bit. We messaged a little bit. If I was going to go to the store, I'd say, hey, do you want something from the store? But we didn't even talk about it, which was so incredible. And we were actually told, like maybe a week ago when we connected, we were shown why these things happen, why the couples are going through it. And it's actually a huge blessing. It's actually collective work as well as individual work, obviously, but they let us know that there are many, many, many couples that are doing this and how important it is for further expansion. Yeah.
On the end of that last day, we could feel it, how powerful and how deeply connected we were after. We thought we were before.
And we felt so free after we could talk from our heart, because
those 4 days were
it was just from my mind, and I couldn't understand myself, because before it was easy, not easy, but easy to sit down, both of us, and go through whatever it was what we had to do together. But this time, no, I told him like every day, I need this time, and he wanted to go through, like, to talk, and I said, I cannot talk, I cannot do anything now.
I know that. I've been through that. This time for
Yeah.
me, it wasn't like that. I finally got it. I finally let go of that masculine that has to fix it.
Oh,
And, you know, I mean,
yeah.
I'd made progress before, but I totally get what you're saying because she used to tell me, I've got nothing to say, you know,
Yeah.
at this time. And I'd be like, well, what did I do? But it wasn't that.
It
It's
does not
just,
compute.
I was
yeah,
thinking I was crazy sometimes. I said, oh my God, what's happening? I couldn't understand
what
myself.
was, you know, and I wonder now if as I look back at it all and listening to you, it, there was almost like, uh, you know, like you said, you said something about ego, Elise, but it was almost like undetectable, unconscious aspects that were coming up. My question is, did you feel any type, or have you felt since then, any type of release or expansion, particularly in the sacral and the throat
I
and the heart?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, I had. I even after that, I think after 2 or 3 days after that, I had womb healing. I
Womb
made this
healing.
appointment, womb healing and empowerment. And
Yes.
I felt going and I went and when I was in the session and she was almost finishing, I could see why I had this wall. I couldn't talk. I had this blockage. I could see. Yeah, it was from my childhood, something with my sister and my family.
Wow.
And then I told her, wow, now I could put the pieces together, because this started and I couldn't understand. I couldn't find out. I sat down some days for half an hour or more, I don't know, and I couldn't see anything. And this is why I was thinking I was crazy, because I was trying to let go. I was with the pain burning in my body, like really burning, burning, burning. That some days I had to get up and say, okay, I will finish this later. But when I did this healing, the womb healing, was so free and
Yeah.
I could understand. And then I came and told him, because we didn't know why we started the discussion. We couldn't remember when we sat
That's
down and
true.
we were fine with each other, fine with us. And he asked, but why did we start this? We couldn't remember. And when I
Yeah,
then
yeah,
went to do the womb healing, I told him, I said, it is this. This is what happened. And I
Yeah.
could see, and this is what was blocking me. And I felt so powerful and I happy, like at home, like more energized
yeah,
and feeling good, and find some things finally that I wanted to do, like for myself, because I
Yeah.
told him I want to do something for myself that I am proud of myself. And for years, I've been asking my guides, God, everything that you can imagine. And I couldn't see, I couldn't find anything like that would bring me joy like before.
in between making a human and
Yeah, making a human.
He's not human, man.
apart,
So,
apart from that. And then that
so,
day, I said,
so it
so
was tied.
free.
It was also tied to your creativity, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely. We were doing so many things at home, clearing, doing beautiful things together. But that time was like stopping everything, stopping like
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
just
just
on
want
a,
to go ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say one thing that really, really helped us, and I know she's an amazing friend of the show, and she was an absolute savior to us in February, and it's
yeah,
Amanda Lawrence.
yes. Oh my
Because
God.
I have such a pattern of not reaching out for help and doing, going through it, just doing it on our own. And finally, for me, I got to the point where I knew we couldn't do this on our own.
Yeah.
We've
Yes.
done everything on our own up until now, and I was so strongly guided to reach out to Amanda, and she was there for both of us separately, and it was incredible. So I just want to
Yes.
just
Oh my God.
like a honoring to that incredible being, because
Absolutely.
she was
Yeah. That's
incredible.
that brings up a second point. Let me go back to the first one. So one, I'm telling you this, if you even need it, which I don't think you do, but validation, synchronicities too, because this is very close to the timeline we had.
Mm.
But the validation being about the womb. So, you know, one thing that had been happening is before we put our hands together at night, which we do every night, I started getting impressions, intuitive uh, impressions and images and thoughts, And so Morgan, being the transmitter, normally will start speaking what she's getting. And I was already, it was just confirming what I'd already gotten. But it kind of culminated about 3 or 4 nights ago. And I started seeing what I didn't, I started to see a Taurus knot, an infinity sign with an extra loop, right? And I kept seeing it. At first I saw infinity signs down in my lower chakras, and then I would see a spark come out from the center of it, and it would send like chi or kundalini or orgasmic energy through my body, right? And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. But the last thing that happened was she started to connect and was told, we're going to put a Taurus knot in your womb. You have a Taurus knot in your womb. And if you think about it and start to activate it, then it will do what it's meant to do. And then they said, and he has it in his womb too. But I already knew it because I'd seen it. So that's that aligns with what you guys are talking about, as well as the timeline. So, and again, we were told that there were many couples doing this, and that they were, and I can't remember all the specifics, but that they were kind of opening the door for this energy to be available to the others, to others.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
Yes.
Wow, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It's so good to hear, because at times like this, you can feel like you're on your own, like, because we do a lot of stuff on our own. We're out there, but you feel alone. So it's really good to hear that. I'm interested. Did you, you said 3 days and 4 nights, because we had no idea how we got there. Like Elise said, like we had no idea why we were in that. Sometimes you have a trigger or something happens. We hadn't a clue. Did you know what was going on, like after day 2, whatever?
Well, it happened. So it was 4 nights, 3 days.
4 nights, 3 days. Yeah.
Because it happened toward the evening.
Yeah.
And it was just a superficial, normal interaction.
Yeah. I still can't remember what it is now, but
yeah. This was like, I'd done like 4 shows. I was tired. I got out. She'd been doing mandalas all day. When she does mandalas, she's tuning in and anchoring. And so she's channeling, basically. So she had been downloading some really important stuff. I came out and I was hungry. And so basically we finally sat down. I really wasn't in the energetic space to sit down. And so what ended up happening was I didn't convey that. But it's all perfect. So we started talking. That wasn't going to work. And then there was nothing said. We just went our separate ways. I came out to the RV where I'm broadcasting, and I've got, a kitchen and a bed. So I thought, I'm just going to stay here tonight. And I started working on myself. Like, what is it in me? What's going on? And I didn't project, and vice versa. We didn't talk about this until 4 days later. And but I did have those moments, and it was about the 3rd night where I thought, like you did, I said, man, I'm going crazy. And I just laid it out. I put my arms out and said, I opened my heart totally to the feminine, to the mother goddess, to any and everything. But at the same time, I was like, I'm tired of this. Why is it, And then she was, here's her comment. So she needed to be alone to heal any feminine wounds still active so she could step into her power. This time made the awareness of the polarities and self easier to see. No distractions, not even from our partners. And I got to say, I felt the same way. Yeah. Although there was for me, there was both a masculine stepping in, but there was also a huge presence of that mother goddess energy the whole time, the entire time. I was having very serious activity in my sacral chakra, which was, I knew somehow not able to verbalize, but I knew was part of what was happening. And sure enough, once we came together and started connecting, as we do every night, then that information came out. It was very, very powerful to me. It was like, so many so many things come through. I don't even know what they are. I just know that there's a huge amount of alignment and elevation, and
Absolutely.
almost like preparation as well. You know.
This is what I've been feeling recently since December, that I feel I've been being prepared for something. I don't know what it is. Again, I don't really ask questions, but I feel that this has been a preparation as well.
Yeah.
Like for something, who knows, whatever. We don't want to. If I get my mind involved in it's too much. But yeah, it feels like a preparation.
Yeah.
But just when you talk about the orgasmic, this is something I never shared with you. This surrendering process, this letting go process, when we started doing this about a week into it, I started getting, and I still get it now, whenever, like, normally something would come up, like you go in, you see, what is it about myself? If it's about us, we go together, we'll look at some shadow integration, we'll do, something like that. That process just dropped. No process whatsoever. I would be in the moment, and it could be a terrifying moment, or it could be like just a challenging moment, and I would just let go. And if I would allow that energy to move through me, instantaneously I would feel like orgasmic.
Yeah.
For a short second, but it's happening in the supermarket. It's happening just
Yeah.
walking down the street. It's like just this wave of bliss with through me, like soulgasms, but it's happening continuously. And
Yeah.
all of the process of shadow work, all the integration work, timeline work, all of the things, the trauma work, they're all dissolving in an instant, and I just let go. But one thing that I did learn through it is, if it's really deep, sometimes you have to let it go on this journey of the worst case scenario. It'll take you like like something happened with Angelo, and I had to let it take me on this journey of seeing all this horrible stuff. Instead of resisting it, let it move through me, and then just heart open and just bliss. Orgasmic, soulgasmic.
Yes. Yeah. I can totally relate to that, and I'm wearing a adult diaper just as a precaution wherever I go. But it's interesting. It's interesting too, because the sacral has really been. It's been obvious. I mean, there's been higher heart involvement, uh, lower heart, solar throat, but the sacral. I mean, I remember wherever it was 4 nights ago when this information was given to us about the Taurus knot, which is really the Trinity uh, symbol versus the infinity for the duality. Uh, that then they said to us, "Are you ready for this activation in your sacral?" Now, and this was also tied to the creativity, in the white silver dragon showed up, which had been shown to us before as the 13th dragon, so on. But what was interesting was the next night, and so of course we said yes, and then we had incredible soulgasms, side by side, hand to hand. But the next night, we decided that we were going to ask some questions. And so Morgan wrote them down on a piece of paper, and she said, "You get a flashlight, I'll connect, and then you read the questions out." So I had it laying right next to me. And as soon as we put our hands together, I started feeling my sacral started exploding. And I thought, "Holy crap, what's going on?" And then the next thing she says, right, the next thing she says, because I said, "Let me know when you're ready." And she said, they want to know if we would like to, they would like to continue working on our sacral. And I said, "Yeah, well, I think they already started, but we were told that it was tied to our creativity. And that's where a lot of our questions and inquisitiveness has been lately, has kind of been like a lot of us have talked about, as we've evolved and what our work is doing and how do we do it and what do we charge or what do we don't charge and all that stuff. Uh, that's kind of where our questions have been. And it seems like the creativity tied to the sacral is now expanding. And just as recently as last night, the message she pulled down was let go of all your preconceived notions. Again, the 3D aspects of what you might call Soulogy or whatever the work is, because whatever's coming is so far beyond your imagination, you have no idea, but it won't come unless you release it, you know?
Absolutely. And I want to say, I can feel that from you. And I watched your, I think you called it your news broadcast earlier, and the creativity and the energy coming through you today was incredible. I could feel it in every part of me. That was so powerful. And when you were saying that, because creativity for me for the previous year was very strong, but I found this time of just like, the creativity was gone. And as you spoke, I realized like this time has been very much, and it was for Elise as well, it was about this creativity and this opening up to that for sure.
And there was like a stoppage, wasn't there? There was like
completely.
It was like
I mean, of everything stopped.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I felt as well on those days, my womb was really big and heavy as well. Before I went to the womb healing, so heavy. And this month, like that I had my period, I felt like only one day I was a little bit stressed, but the rest of the days, like feeling very good. But that in February was so many days before my period and during my period. Really, really feeling crazy.
And we're on a very special day, Friday the 13th. You know, this is another one of the inversions, like, and it's very linked with the feminine, the February, you know, the way in modern culture it's seen as an unlucky day. This is actually very linked with Venus and very linked with the feminine energy, and it's a very powerful energy, and it's about creativity as well. So a lot of these inversions, we're going to have to re-invert and reinvent. It's really cool that we're here today. I'm just realizing on Friday 13th.
Yeah, a woman was on yesterday, and I can't remember anything, but she said, she said she kept getting two words, and I forget what we were talking about, but I know it's in the same neighborhood of what we're talking about now. And I can't remember the first word, but the second word was inversion. Yeah. And she, you know, she goes, I don't really have a great, but it made a lot of sense. And, you know, one of the things that's becoming more and more obvious, I think, not just to me, but to everybody, is that all of our stuff it's all aligning, you know? I mean, it's like people are, and it's happened before, but it's getting like so close. I mean, like, even like today, like you talked about the broadcast I did this morning, it started 2 days ago, and I was shaken out of bed, and I knew I had to do something. I didn't know what it was. Anyway, fast forward to today, I knew I was going to do something, and I didn't know what it was. And Morgan came out here, and she said, whatever, I can't remember. She was going to the store or something. And I said, I'm going to do a news flash. And she goes, what are you going to talk about? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And to me, part of the message that I'm receiving, and I think we're all getting, is that, and going back to what you opened the show up about, the 7-day trip, it's in this spontaneous, intuitive, no thinking presence where we are pure channels, you know. And not only is, say, it might look like one person is pulling it down, but it's not. It's a whole vortex, because that's what I felt today. I've done probably 4,000 video productions, and today I could see the field like I've never seen it before. I could just see, like, literally like 3,000-4,000 people just congealed in one spot, and it was just like a fountain of off-planet rainbow colors. I mean, that's how I'd explain it, you know.
I felt it. I felt it, like it was incredible. I felt that. So every word and beyond the words was felt. It was powerful, beautiful.
Yeah. As the individual,
Go ahead.
No, nothing. Go.
I was wanting to ask Elise, because I can't remember if we talked about this. You remember when we were in that coffee shop and I disappeared, and that in between period? What was happening with you in that period? Do you remember?
Yes, I was playing with Angelo. He was playing in the corner with some toys. Yeah. And then I told you I'm just going to change his diaper, and then I went to the bathroom.
At that point I was still there. It's between that, And what happened with you in between? Did you feel it because it came back and you had to do this?
I know, because you knock at the door and you ask if I was there. I said yes, I'm changing the diaper. And when I came out, I sat down to eat, and then you start talking. And because in the morning before leaving to go to this
I was
place,
telling the crazy.
it was like maybe 2 or 3 hours in the car to doing another kind of inner work.
Yeah.
And then he started talking, and Angelo started crying because I went to feed Angelo, and he started talking, and I thought he would talk about again to do any work, and I went to feed Angelo and and eat and relax.
Do something normal.
So when he said that, for me, he would start talking about things that I sparked for him or something like that. And I felt I just want to relax and have our meal. And then I couldn't see and hear and see anyone else. Like everything was blurred, and he was just in front of me and Angelo. And I think just arise like, and I said to him, "Can you stop talking, please? Can you stop talking?"
It wasn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
This is the song.
It's like it was like the Cali energy, right?
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what it was.
Stopped. And then I
And it wasn't the words
wow.
either. It was
Wow, I've never done this in in public place. Even at home, I've never told him to stop talking like that. Never ever to anyone.
Well,
but it was really, really.
This is the power of feminine.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he's hopefully he's a fast learner.
I've never because I'm very kind of what's the word, kind of rebel, kind of don't we have this a lot, don't tell me what to do. I've never ever in my life the energy of that was you see I just dropped.
Yeah.
I just dropped, and there's not a word came from me, and I just was back there, and I was like,
I've been there.
Had that happen.
I've been there, believe me.
It was
I wasn't a fast learner, but I think I pretty much got it figured out now. You know? But yeah, I've been there. It stops you in your tracks, doesn't it?
Oh, never. I've never. That's another experience. I've never had that before. I would always have a little bit of a, the rebel or the one to fight or answer. This was boom. You're in your place. There's nothing to say. Don't even look this way. You just keep quiet.
just eat it.
Well, yeah, because if you had, she probably would have twinkled her nose and something would have happened. You probably would have grown a donkey tail or something on your lap.
Bewitched, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then when we finished, I said to him, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
She said, "Sorry," and I was I was celebrating. It was like a celebration. It felt like, for me, it was like the feminine goddess power that I'd always felt it from her, but this was an outward expression of it, and power and strength that I'd never seen. And she was saying sorry, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was amazing.
Wow. So do you guys have any plans to do any more traveling or anything?
Yes, we do. We need to finish off the quartet of Atlantis, the remnants of Atlantis. So last year we were in the Azores, which is so the guidance that I received is the Azores, the Canary Islands, Madeira Islands, and Cape Verde of South Africa. They're the remnants that's left of what was in that parallel reality Atlantis. So we've been in 2 of those. We were guided to the second one, so we definitely want to go to Madeira and Cape Verde. But it's funny because we say plan, not that the openness is there. I know we'll be taken there. But I feel like those, and we definitely, I feel like we want to get to the States as well, and there's lots of places and
far out.
Yeah,
far out. I feel that.
And Brazil, we do need to get to Brazil as well. Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to have to figure out a way to talk about what used to be our plans.
Oh, it's impossible to do. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do that because we all know it can change like that,
Yeah, and I think this is an integration phase for us, and it seems like you're going through something very similar, which it's really good to hear that in a way, because we know we're not crazy. But it's we have to really trust, and we're coming to a place where literally everything is falling away. It's continuous. It's happening. And we are trusting, and we're trusting, but the human part of you, you still think, come on,
Yeah.
You know?
There's and I think at the same time there's this continuation of a further refinement of a true equality with the masculine and feminine energy. Well,
Totally.
within ourselves in these
Yeah.
incarnations, these relationships,
Yeah.
that seems to be like we were shown a lock and a key,
Mm.
she was the lock, I'm the key, and it was all kind of explained. I won't go into it, but there's something about where we're all headed, and what we're doing and how we serve the collective, that it has to go out in that equal energy,
Yeah.
or it'll have, we can't take any of that old stuff with us, so I mean, it's like I can get it,
Absolutely.
but I can't really say it, and I'm a talker, but I see it, and I see it in you guys. I mean, what you described, both verbally and energetically, I'm telling you, we're right there with you, and I'm sure there's many others. It's a good sign. It's a great sign.
When
Yeah.
you invited us to do this interview, I imagine I said, okay, it's gonna be good as well to hear from other couples.
Yeah.
And I had experience as well when one of these days that I was trying to see something what was happening. Like I went to so many lifetimes with Martin,
Yeah.
and sometimes I was man, he was woman.
Yeah, there was a whole lot
And
of that,
then
wasn't
it was very heavy because I could see first like he's torturing me, and in these lifetimes, and vice versa, and then I was woman, and then he was man, like so many like coming, and I could see everything. And when I came back, I was, my God.
Right.
You
We
were
have to
feeling,
balance this, I said, because it
yeah.
was too much, too many lifetimes. And
Yeah.
it was always one was the abuser, the one was the abused, and then was change
Yeah.
the
Yeah. It makes sense, and again, that's something we can relate to.
Mm.
A lot of that stuff for us happened a while back, but I mean, there's no linear, but
yeah.
the fact that what you described and when it happened is so close to it's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't make that up. So see, another thing is, prior to this happening, we landed in a place that we could broadcast for the month. So this would have been right before this happened, right before the month ended in February. And so she picked up that we're supposed to have couples on this month.
Mm.
So not only couples like yourself that maybe have been on the show before, or one has been on the show before, but also she found somewhere or another, I think through another couple, a bunch of couples that we've never heard of. So like tomorrow, we've got 3 couples on. So this
Oh,
I think there's something to do with the frequency and the codes of sacred union or divine union, whatever you want to call it. We're
Yeah.
talking frequency that is coming to the surface and being supported now. So I want to
Sure.
thank both of you. I would love to keep talking. I still got 2 more shows, but I just want to say thank you so much. And I look forward to collaborating with you more and more and more, and with Angelo.
I interrupted him.
and I look forward to meeting you in the flesh, because I know that's coming.
yeah.
And I just want to say
Absolutely.
I love you both. I love you both. I love you, Angelo, and I love everybody out there. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. And let's just keep going.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Much appreciated. And
Yes.
so good to be connected. And thank you for all that you're bringing, all you're doing. And anyone watching, get onto Soulogy and connect and support these beautiful beings, what they're doing. So we're all in this shift together. So let's do it.
That's right.
Thank you very
Peace
much.
out. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.